So in today's video, we're going to be discussing the difference between professional wrestling and sports entertainment. For those of you who aren't aware, sports entertainment is the politically correct way of saying professional wrestling. But see, sports entertainment, even though it seems like would be the exact same thing, just the politically correct way of saying professional wrestling, it's not exactly the same thing. You see, this is the difference between WWE and Cody Rhodes' wrestling company, AEW. AEW stands for All Elite Wrestling, and WWE stands for World Wrestling Entertainment. Keep in mind, one of them stands for entertainment, the other one stands for all wrestling. What does that mean exactly? Sports entertainment. It's just another way of saying that wrestling is fabricated. In a way, it's staged, choreographed, or as some of you like to call it, fake and gay. I'm sorry if that last one offends anyone. Gay. Gay, not as in homosexual, but gay as in it's to blur a line, you know. But anyway, the difference is night and day. Last night, for instance, last Wednesday night, I think it was February 9th, 2020. About the second Wednesday of February, I want to say, because there's no way that, we've already been through a 7-day cycle. There at least had to be one Wednesday in February already. Anyway, there was a main event matchup, and we'll talk about the other matches as well, but there was a main event matchup that I had my eyes on. It was Kenta, the number one, for those of you who don't know who he is, he's the number one contender for the championship held by Mr. Jon Moxley in the IWGP Heavyweight United States Championship. Jon Moxley on the other team, Kenta on one team, a man who's tried to kill Jon Moxley in Kenny Omega on Kenta's team. So Kenny Omega and Kenta, if you can remember that. Now, for those of you wondering why in the hell I'm talking down to my audience, it's not exactly that I'm talking down to you guys, it's just that some of you who watch my program don't exactly keep up with professional wrestling, and in order for me to make my point, I'm going to need some sort of, hey, I'm keeping up with you, buddy. So Jon Moxley on one team and Lance Archer on another team. Had that been the case, there was a long-standing rivalry, and it's been going on for at least a year now, between Jon Moxley, and Kenny Omega. Moxley and Omega have been butting heads since about the better part of last year. So about the end of 2020, they've been pretty much at each other's throats at every turn. And they used to be somewhat respect toward one another, you know, and they're starting to blur a lot of lines, and more lines than Robin Thicke, let me tell you. But those are some blurred lines that Robin Thicke can't even handle. Okay, enough jokes. Professional wrestling is as it seems, but there's almost nothing professional about some of the stuff that these men do. The only professional part, if I'm being honest, is the fact that you're in a ring with someone that you trust enough to lay down for and let them take hits at you, take strikes at you, put you in a debilitating submission maneuver that may or may not, cripple you years down the road if done wrong. Or having this much protection whenever you go for a power driver. For those of you who don't know what that is, you should look it up. Once again, I'm not trying to talk down to my fans, or for that matter, from my audience, but a lot of my audience doesn't exactly watch professional wrestling. They come here for my personality, for my personality's sake. Had that been the case, though, the difference between professional wrestling and sports entertainment is kind of like sports entertainment is a storyline. Sports entertainment is a way of causing drama between two people and having them fight over a kayfabe. Kayfabe, for those of you who don't know, is like I'm sure I could give an example if I could think of one. Like in 2002 when Lita got pregnant. Those of you who don't know, Lita was in a storyline with Kane, and apparently Kane got her pregnant. They weren't really dating at the time. They had to find a way to write off the fact that Lita was pregnant, but they had to find a way to write it off. See, the way that they did this is they had Kane shove Lita into a man who's over 300 pounds, and his name is Snitsky. And whenever Kane shoved Lita into Snitsky, Snitsky tripped, and whenever he tripped, he fell onto Lita. And then they started this whole, oh, that may have caused a miscarriage. That was to create drama, to get an audience, to promote more of their product and keep a storyline going for a long running period of time, down the line, down the road, weeks prior, so that they could keep selling merchandise, so that they could have TV time. Professional wrestling is not like that, however. But professional wrestling has, in a way, started to become more of sports entertainment. Whenever they say that they tried to kill a man, that's more or less the line of sports entertainment than it is professional wrestling. Because never would you ever watch a professional wrestling match and expect someone to die. Or, I'm going to kill you. You say it to them on national television, but in reality you have a contract basically saying that anything you say is considered kayfabe. What that means is it's considered to be a part of a greater storyline to create and cause a lot of drama, and basically meant for the network, for that network that you are on. Professional wrestling, however, is so much more different. It is a competition between two men to see who can get the pin or submission over another. A competition of strength, agility, power. I already said strength, I don't know why I said power. I suppose power and strength could be considered the same thing, but in some cases it could be considered somewhat different. This is a competition of durability, competition of, take Dusty Rhodes for example. Dusty and Harley Race had great wrestling matches that I'm aware of. Never really stopped to watch them. I was just told that Dusty Rhodes was a bumbling idiot who used to dress up in polka dots and do this whenever I was growing up. But he really didn't. And my opinion of Dusty Rhodes, I suppose, is irrelevant. I think that he was exactly that, a bumbling idiot who used to dress up in polka dots and say, I'm the son of a plumber. What? Nonetheless, people seem to get behind Dusty Rhodes. A modern day version would be Bully Ray facing off against AJ Styles. Styles, who was considered to be a young rookie, when in fact he wasn't, because Styles was made his name over in the independent circuit, and for that matter, he was working for a company at the time known as Impact Wrestling. Nonetheless, if you go back and watch that feud, that was blurring the lines between sports entertainment and professional wrestling. It seemed, if you were watching the entire program, week after week, and you were getting heavily involved in it, it would seem as though that Bully Ray hated AJ Styles' guts. The things that man did to him made it look like he would have burned his house down had they would have let him. Speaking of burning houses down, let's take a look at Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. Randy literally burned the man's house down. He burned his compound down and expected him not to come back and just basically decimate him. That is the difference, because that was a storyline to create drama and show a little bit of, oh, this is outside of the wrestling ring. That is sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. Everything that happens outside of the professional wrestling ring is considered sports entertainment unless it's done like, someone bullying you on Twitter and they just so happen to be a part of a wrestling company. Here's to you, Kevin Owens. He didn't bully me on Twitter, but he bullies people on Twitter, for those of you who don't get it. Anyway, Kenta and Kenny Omega faced off against Jon Moxley and Lance Archer. Almost forgot the man's name, and I don't know why. Nonetheless, what ended up taking place was a bitch of a match. Let me tell you, this match was incredible. In the 25 minutes, 20-some minutes that they had to take it on, and this was my first wrestling, me actually watching, instead of catching highlights, me actually watching AEW live. Actually having the chance to actually watch it. I was invited over by my aunt to watch wrestling, and we ate like steak and potatoes, and was a hell of a good night. But nonetheless, what I mean to say is, all of the work that went into this, it's been a year, and they're still fighting, and I'm not tired of it. Jon Moxley, the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion, it's been a year, and I'm not tired of him fighting with Kenny Omega, because they got such great chemistry together. Understand that, people, that there is chemistry between these two, regardless of whether I'm talking about it like they're in a lover's relationship, which they're not. Happy Valentine's Day. But what I mean is, they are so good together. Macaroni and cheese, I'm going to stop saying stuff off topic, by the way. But what I mean is that they complement each other, and it was perfect, regardless of the fact that Kenny Omega ended up picking up the victory due to some low-down dirty tactics. But I mean, technically it wasn't low-down dirty tactics, because it was a Falls Count Anywhere no disqualification tag team match. So technically he was within his right to cheat, if cheat is what you want to call it, because he didn't cheat because there were no rules. Understand, you can't cheat if there are no rules. It was a no disqualification match. Lance Archer was trying to take out Kenta when the Good Brothers showed up. And I'm not going to act like everyone knows who they are, but the Good Brothers are the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. This is what I mean by sports entertainment versus professional wrestling. Never again, and probably, never once have you seen a company outside of the wrestling company that was airing its program to be able to say like, hey, he's from another company. But he showed up on this show, even though he's from another company. But is he still working for the other company? Yes, he is. The Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions showed up on a different wrestling program. To catch my drift, that means that the Inner Club, as they're called, the Bullet Club, is what they're formally known as, showed up to basically spoil Jon Moxley's party because Kenny Omega, their friends, Kenny Omega, Luke Gallows, Doc Gallows, excuse me, he no longer goes by Luke Gallows, the big LG, and Carl Anderson showed up to spoil Jon Moxley's night. I loved every minute of it. Regardless of the fact that Moxley didn't win. It was an entertaining showing regardless of who won, because I couldn't pull a rabbit out of my hat and tell you who it was that I was voting for, basically. Whoever won wins. I've never in my life will, or probably never again, will I see a wrestling match where I actually look at it on paper and then I say, you know something? I don't care who wins this match. Because usually you have a favorite, you know? Usually you have someone, you're like, oh, okay, I want this guy to win. Yeah. Just put all your money on him. But now they're starting to create wrestlers who have character, who have charisma, who have a lot of it. You know, you need to understand what it is in order to understand the wrestling business. But, it was a beautiful thing. It really brought everything full circle. It really took everything that they had. It was a 5-star performance last week. And for that matter, it's been like a year and they're still clashing heads. They're still going at it. Like every week they find a way to one-up each other. Never again will you find Premier Wrestling at its finest form. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been meaning to do that for a while. I've been meaning to get out a video for a while where I explain the difference between professional wrestling and sports entertainment. Because it bothers me that I'm speaking to my audience and they don't understand what the difference is. Like, if I was to talk about something and it be within the realm of professional wrestling and I was talking about professional wrestling, you guys would think that I was talking about something that was, quote, fake and gay. Which is what I've been told all my life. Stop watching that shit. It's fake and gay. You know, hey, turn the channel. You know, it's something real's on. You know, let's watch Everybody Loves Raymond. Because, I mean, that's obviously a real depiction of Ray Ramon's life, right? Ray, whatever, Barone, whatever his last name is, right? Yeah. I mean, let's watch a Lifetime movie. I mean, that's real stuff right there, man. Sophie's Choice. I still don't know what her choice was. Nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and bounce. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to plug my social media now. On Twitter at P1_Bebe. On Instagram at Mocha_CPR. You're not going to get my Discord unless you can DM me and actually, like, convince me that you want my Discord. I'm going to give out my phone number now.